Hello, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you from the DeKalb County Library or for the DeKalb County Library Foundation. I am doing a video today that is kind of a request. I will give you a little backstory. I had a class that I had planned for, and the day before that class, I went to lunch with a friend of mine who was wearing a really cute bracelet. Hi, Trudy. And I thought, oh wow, I should do something like that in my class, except do it with wire wrapping because I think hers was on an elastic band. And so I did. I had already planned my class, had it all packed up and ready to go. I completely switched gears and redesigned a new bracelet to do that class and did it the next day. They absolutely loved it. Wow. So then fast forward a little while ago, I was wearing that bracelet when I was doing one of my tutorials, and I got comments, can we learn how to make that bracelet? And I thought, oh my goodness, again, thank you, Trudy. And so I have kind of a soft rule that I don't like to do the same things on my tutorials that I do in my class. That gives you, that way if you want to do both, you'll have different things all the time. So I decided to go ahead and do something, a combination of that and another kind of link that I've done. Just put the two together and make a nice little bracelet to bring to you today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to combine 4mm stone rounds with chips, and we're going to make a bracelet, a link bracelet. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, I know it's going to be a lot of fun because we're not using one color. We're going to take a mix of stones. I'm using, put my glasses on. Okay, I'm using white howlite, excuse me, turquoise, what is this one? I can't remember. Anyway, amethyst, and I think that's it. I'm using 4 different ones. And then for the rounds, I'm using the turquoise howlite. But I picked one color out of the 4 stones that I'm using and decided to use it as the one continuing link. So we're going to be making, these are 4mm rounds. They're very small. And we're just going to wrap them and make a link out of them. And then we're going to make a nice, some round chips as the other link. I'm trying to pick it up by the corner so you can see the whole thing, and my fingers are too big. So we're going to take this and link it to that all the way down until we have a bracelet. So all you need are your usual tools, your round nose pliers, square nose or chain nose pliers, your cutters, a ruler, 20 gauge wire, and 24 gauge wire. That is it. That's all we need today. So let's get going and make our bracelet. Okay, so let's start with our wrapped link, which is this one where we're using the 4mm rounds, and we're going to just give it a simple wrap on the sides. It's very pretty. Get there where it's a little clearer. There we go. Neat. Very easy to do. So let's get started. So what I need is enough 20 gauge wire to do a little wrap on each end and to cover my beads. In order to find out how much you need, you want to measure your beads, which in this case is maybe 3/4 of an inch, then give yourself 1.5 inches on each side to do your little wrap. So that's 3 3/4 inches. So let's grab that, grab my 20 gauge wire. That little wrinkly part there. If I can straighten it out, I will, because all of you who know me know I hate waste. I hate waste. So about 3 and 3/4 inches. 1, 2, 3 3/4. Okay. And then for the 24 gauge wire, I need about 4 inches. Probably a little more than I need. Get my voice. I don't know what's going on there. Probably a little more than I need, but that's okay. I'll just cut off whatever excess I have. So what I need for my 20 gauge wire is about 1.5 inches in order to make my loop and my wrap. So here we go. Let's measure that, 1.5 inches, bend it back on the end. Take my round nose pliers. Slide my wire about 1/3 of the way down my pliers because it doesn't have to be a big loop. It doesn't have to be huge. Just enough so that we're going to make a clasp, and you want the loop to be big enough for the clasp to go inside of. Okay, so I've got my wire about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, and I've got a short tail here and a long tail here. So there's my long tail, there's my short tail going across. I'm going to bring that short tail over the pliers and down the side so that both the long tail, that's all crinkled, and the short tail are meeting. So then I'm going to open up my pliers without taking the wire out. Rotate the pliers back just enough so that the flat side is forming a T with the wire. So there's my pliers, there's my wire. Then I'm going to bring that short tail of wire under the pliers until it's horizontal across the two teeth of my pliers. Then when I take if I take my wire out, just to show you, now I have a loop. Yay. So now I'm going to grab my flat pliers, grab the face. This is what I call the face of my loop. Take that short tail and wrap it around just a couple of times. Doesn't need to be much, but I'm wrapping it right around down the stem, the long stem of wire. And once I have my 2 wraps, 1.5 to 2, that's all you need. Clip off that tail. And I like to hold on to the tail so it doesn't go flying off across the room. Clip that off and push this little tip down so that that little sharp edge, so that it won't catch on anything or scratch your skin. Just push that down. Nice and close against that long tail. So now I'm going to introduce my bead. Let's straighten that up a little bit. It's a little off to the side, so just go in there. Straighten it up. There we go. Now let's introduce my beads. Now I can put all 3 beads on, but I think it's easier not to do that, so I don't have to shuffle around with 3 beads. So I'm going to put this 1 bead on, but oh, nope, let's not do that yet. First, let's grab my 24 gauge wire. I'm going to just bend it in half. It doesn't have to be, when I say bend, I mean just make a little U so that it's easy to work with. So there's that. I'm going to slide it over my 20 gauge wire. I'm going to cross those wires over each other. Just bring them together. There we go. So now I have 1 tail going one way and 1 tail going the other way. I'm going to bring 1 tail around and around what I'm calling the back of the wire and across the front again. Then I'm going to do the same with the other tail. around the back and across the front. And they're back on opposite sides again. Just needed to secure the wire. Now I'm going to introduce a bead. Okay, so let's put one of our 4mm rounds on. And I'm going to bring the tail of the wire, the 24 gauge wire that's closest to the bead, up the side of the bead and around the back of my 20 gauge wire. And then wrap it around and bring it back over to the side, just like that. Bring my next bead on and do the same thing. I'm pushing them together so that they're nice and close. Bring that 24 gauge wire up the side of my bead. Let's see if I can get a little closer so it's easier to see. I'm going to bring that wire up the side of my bead and around the back of the 20 gauge. Wrap it around and back over to the side. So this is what I've got so far. Then I'm going to put the third bead on and do the same thing. Bring that 24 gauge wire up around the back of my 20 gauge wire, wrap it around, and there we go. That's what I have so far. Now I'm just going to give it one wrap around and clip off the end. Again, I'm going to hold on to that tail. So it doesn't go flying. Snip that off. Take my flat pliers, my square pliers, and push down that end. Okay, there we go. There. Now I'm going to go to the other wire and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to bring that wire up the side of my first bead and around the back and wrap it right in between the two beads, just like that. Bring it up the side of the next bead. Oh, I see a little gap there, so I'm going to push those together. There we go. Bring it up the side of the second bead, around the back, and wrap it in between the two beads. Just like that. Same thing with the third bead. Wrap it around. And there we go. So now we have a nicely framed little row of beads. Now I'm going to straighten that out a little bit. Wrap that wire around. 1.5 times is all I need just to secure it. And then let's clip off that tail. And push down that little end with my pliers. Go. And there we go. Nice. Now I can make some arrangements if I need to. I can push my beads closer together. I can arrange the little wraps if they're not sitting exactly the way you want them. These look pretty good, not so bad. And now I'm going to make a loop on the other side. So I'm going to bend my wire back. Sorry about that. I don't know why I've got a frog in my throat. And I want both of my loops to be flat. This one's flat. I want the other one to go the same direction. So I'm going to bend the wire back just above where it's wrapped, just like that. Grab my round nose pliers. And again, I'm going to slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down the pliers. Bring that tail over the top of my pliers and down the side until it's just running alongside of my beads. Without taking my wire out, I'm going to open my pliers and rotate back, clamp back down. So now I've got that T again across and down. I'm going to bring that tail of wire around and under my pliers. And now I'm going to wrap it. This time I'm going to leave it in there. In the loop, just wrap it around a couple of times over my first wrap. Then I'm going to clip that tail off. See, I told you you had some left. Not much, a little bit. On both of the 20 gauge and the 24 gauge. Snip that off. Push down that tail, that little end. And there we have it. There's my little link. Neat, huh? I like it. Cute. Okay, so that is one link. Now the next link is going to be our little design piece. We're going to take all of our little chips and we're going to make some links with simple wrapped ends or simple looped ends. Very easy. So I've already got some wire cut. And all I want was maybe an inch or so worth of beads and then 2 simple loops on the ends. So I need about an inch for my beads to go on and about a half an inch on each end in order to make my loops. So what I'm going to do, here's another way to make loops. If you don't want to have to guess at how much you need in order to make your loops, then don't bend the wire back. Just keep the wire straight. I'm going to slide my wire down a third of the way down my pliers again, because I want my loops to be a consistent size. And I'm going to rotate, open, roll my pliers back, clamp back down, rotate again, open, roll back, clamp, rotate again, until I have a loop. So there's my loop. Now, because I started with the wire on top, the loop ends up on the side. If you start with the wire on the side, the loop ends up on top. And the only thing I have to do is go in with the tip of my pliers and just bend it until my loop is on top. Just the way I want it. Give it a little bit more of a bend. So it looks like a little lollipop. So now I need to decide what beads do I want to use. I'm trying to think of the name of these. I can't remember. They're little sparkly beads. It's a little sparkly stone. I can't remember the name of it. I've got the package in here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, nicely marked, if I can find it. I'm going to pause this so you don't have to listen to me rattle around trying to find the beads. Hold on. It's sandstone. That's what it is. Okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and put some beads on. What do I want on here first? Let's start with sandstone. Let's do a turquoise. This is actually turquoise halite. There we go. Let's put a couple of those on. Let's put another one of these guys on. I like them. Very pretty. And let's put a white halite. Let's finish it up with an amethyst because it's pretty. Yeah, that's a nice little collection. Now I like to turn it around until I can find a way to cover up as much, but usually 9 times out of 10, I can find a way to turn the beads so that they kind of slot together and as little wire is showing as possible. I just flip them around until I find a good combination that makes that happen. Come on, come on, come on. Around there. Turn around. There. Yes, there we go. Nice. There's a little space in between these two. I'm not going to sweat it. Well, that's better. There we go. That's a nice little combo. So now I'm just going to make a simple loop like I did on the other side. I want to make sure that this loop is going the same direction as this one. So whatever is the flat direction is, that's the way I want to go with this. This is flat. And by flat, I mean if I lay it down, it's the face of the loop is facing up. So I'm going to bend my wire back in the same direction. And now remember on this side, I didn't bend it back. I just did the loop standing up and then bent it back later. But now I'm going to bend my wire back and make my loop while it's on the side so that when I make my loop, the loop will end up on top. Now I only need about half a yard for the entire piece of wire to accommodate my loop. That half a yard includes this little bit right here that's sticking up. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that off. I'm eyeballing it, but if you want to, you can measure. Clip that off. Notice how I hold on to that tail because I do not want to go crawling around all over my floor trying to find it. Grab my round nose pliers, slide my wire down until it's about a third of the way down my pliers. I don't want any of that tip exposed and I can feel it. So I need to move it a little further in between the teeth of my pliers. There we go. Now I'm going to make my loop. Rotate. I just go in small increments. Rotate a little bit. And then without taking the wire out, I open my pliers, rotate them back, then close back down on my wire. Give it another turn. Open, rotate back, clamp back down, and keep doing that until I have a full loop, just like that. And now, oh, good. I mean, not good, but you can see that one of my loops is going one way, nice and flat, and the other one is up and down. Oh no, easy fix. Grab the loop with one pair of pliers and either use my fingers or another pair of pliers to grab the other loop. Give it a twist until they're both going the same direction. There we go. Nice. Now this isn't completely closed, so I'm just going to go in, give it a little nudge until I have a closed loop. And there we go. Nice. Flip that around a little bit, see if I can get rid of a little more of that space. Not too bad. They're chips. Here we go. These are my links. Neat. And now we're going to put all of these together. I think this is enough because I've already made several. So this is about the way I think my bracelet is going to go. Let's put this in here. And there. I think that's long enough, if I'm not mistaken, and I can find my ruler. So I need it to be about 7.5 inches complete. Yes, very nice. Yeah, because it's about 7 and I still need to make my clasp. So, oh, isn't that pretty though? I like it. All right, so now let's put everything together. So what I need to do is open. Now you see why I needed one set of open loops, simple loops, and one set of closed loops, because I have to be able to open these in order to link them to these. See, there's a method to my madness. So I'm going to open up my loop. And the way I do that is just grab the one side of the face, twist the loop open, slide the loop to my closed link inside the open loop, close it, and there's one link. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Open that up. Slide my closed loop inside my open loop and close it back up. Go to the next one, same thing. Open, insert, and close. Oh, I don't want the turquoise to meet the turquoise, so I'm going to flip it around. Well, it's going to meet it on the other side, so that's okay. Design choice. Close that back up. Nice and snug. Okay, and the other side. I just keep doing this until I have all of my links together. Okay. Nice. There we go. Now let's remeasure and see how long it actually is all put together. Oh, here's another. I'm not sure I'm going to need that one. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Yeah, maybe I can use you. See, that's going to make it a little too long because that's going to take it up to almost 8 inches. So I'm not going to use this one. See that, that's pretty. I think I'll use it for something else, and I'll show you what. So now it's time for me to make my clasp. And what I've decided to do is make I was just going to let the hook into the end loop, but let's see if I'm going to do that. I might need to add an actual man-made loop or self-made loop. So, but let me show you how to make your little clasp. And for that, you just need about 4 inches of wire, 20 gauge, Okay, 4 inches. And I think I'm going to dress it up a little bit. So I think I'm going to put a bead on it. Straighten that out. Okay. So what I want to do is make a hook. So I need a good inch, maybe I'm going to give myself 1.25 inches of wire, measure from the tip about 1.25 inches. And I'm going to bend the wire until the short tail meets the long tail, just like that. Then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to squeeze those 2 ends together, or those 2 little rows of or lengths of wire together. Squeeze it until it's nice and close, just like that. Till they're side by side. And then I'm going to bend my wire about 1/2 inch from the end. Just about 1/2 inch, that's all. That's all I need. And then I'm going to wrap this short tail around the long tail. And I find that if I hold my wire about the halfway point down my pliers, this is where my pliers are strongest. And then my wire won't shift when I get ready to do my wrapping. So I'm going to hold on to my wire, make sure that the 2 ends are side by side, or the 2 rows are side by side. And then I'm going to bring that tail around the long stem of wire and wrap it around. 1 time. And 2 times, 1.5 to 2 times. That's really, really all you need. That's very short. So I'm going to bring my other pliers in to wrap it around the rest of the way. There we go. So now all I need to do is clip off that little end. Watch that tail, because it will go flying. So I'm going to use my little tube, and you can see I have little ends of wire down in there. And I'm going to clip it down into there. There it is. So it won't go flying across the room again. Okay. And then this little tip that's all nice and sharp, I'm going to push it down with my pliers. There we go. And now I'm going to make my hook. Sure these edges are side by side. So now I'm going to make my hook. So what I want to do is take my pliers. I want a little bit of the tip sticking out from beyond the pliers. Slide my wire back close to the base, but not close enough that it gets caught up in this little squared off part. And then I'm going to fold my wire around the pliers, just wrap it around until the tip touches my little knot, my little loop. And there's my hook. Yay! Then I'm going to take the tip of my pliers, either round or square, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to put just a little ledge on the tip here. I'm just going to turn that tip up just a little bit. So now I have a little ledge. Go in, make sure everything looks nice and neat. And there's my hook. Neaten that up a little bit more. Yes. Okay, so now I had said I want to put a bead on here. So what I'm going to do is grab any of my beads. And I've done so much with the turquoise. I might stick with that or maybe not. Let's see. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something here. No, I'm not. What I'm going to do, since I started with the round one and ended up with the little chips, I think I'm going to use the bead this time to kind of balance it out. So I'm going to grab one of my rounds. Do I want one or do I want two? That is the question. I think I'll do two. I wish I could do three so it would look like this, but I think it would make it too long. So I'm going to give myself two of the little rounds and I'm just going to feed them on my wire, just like that. And now I'm going to make a loop. So I'm going to bend my wire over to the side, just like that. And now I'm going to make a wrapped loop. So again, I'm going to take my wire. Now, let me give you a tip. If you wanted to use one of your chips for your loop and put it on the side with the rounds, you would need to make a loop that's not wrapped because you have to be able to hook it into the wrapped loop. I'm doing mine on the other side where this loop can be opened in order to accommodate the wrapped loop. So that's why I'm wrapping my loop. Slide my wire down about a third of the way down my pliers so it's comparable to the others. Bring my wire over the top of my pliers like so, and down the side. Open up my pliers without taking the wire out. Rotate my pliers back and clamp back down and bring the wire around and to the side. And now I'm ready to wrap my loop. Now, I can either hold it like this and wrap it around, or I can take this out, grab my pliers, my square pliers, and hold it and wrap it around. Either one works. It's whichever one you're comfortable with. I like both. Okay, there we go. There we have it. I just need to clip off the end, that tail. Push down the tip. So that it's not waiting to attack my skin. There it is. Nice. There we go. A little tighter. I'm going to push it right down in between the wraps if I can. Okay, and now I'm going to attach it right there. Yay! Okay, so let's open this up. Open. Slide on my wrapped loop and close. And there we have it. Let's see how long it is. Let me check. It's just at 7.5, but I think I need a little bit more. So yay, I need to get that. I need to make another piece. So I'm going to show you how to make a loop, a handmade loop for the other side. Okay, so I'm going to be making a simple loop on the end to attach it to my wrapped loop. But I'm going to add a chip on this side. So I think I need a little more than that. So I'm going to give myself a good 4 inches again. So I need 4 inches. It's going to be a little more than I need since I'm not wrapping my loop, but that's okay. I'll just have another one of these little pieces that I can use for something. All right, so again, give myself a good 1.5 inches. I just measured it on my ruler. Bend my wire back, like so. Now I'm going to make a big loop, so I'm going to slide all the way back to the back of my pliers. And this is the loop that my hook's going to go through. So it just needs to be a bit bigger than my other loops. So I'm going to rotate or wrap my wire around my pliers, just like I did all of the others, just like that. Slide it off so you can see what I'm doing. So here's my kind of 3/4 of a loop. Bring that around the rest of the way. There's my loop. And I just need to wrap it. Once. And twice. And that is a plenty. Let's clip that off, that little tail. And push down that little end. Let's fix my little loop. It looks a little lopsided. So let's go in. And there we go. Get it a little more round. There we go. There's my loop. And now I see a little space in between my wires. So I'm going to take my pliers and squeeze them together. There we go. Nice, neat, tidy. Let's find a chip to put on. And I think I'm going to go with another color. I'm going to go with the white one. Since I have the blue on this side, I think I'll give myself one of these white halides just for a little contrast. Where's the hole? There it is. Oops. Where did it? There. Put back over here. Oh, what? I have a bend in my wire. Chips don't like that. They're very finely drilled. Okay, slide that on. Yeah, that looks good. I think I might put one more on there. Do I want a turquoise or do I want another color? Oh, I think I'll put one of the sandstone. Oh, I think that'll be pretty. Won't that be pretty? Nice. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so I'm going to bend back my wire. See, that's going to go that way. So this needs to be turned this way. This is flat. So the other loop that it's going to go into needs to go the other direction. And we're doing a simple loop here. We're not doing a wrapped loop. So it's very simple. So what I'm going to do, bend my wire back, cut off the tail to about 1/2 inch. Told you I'd have too much. But if I'm going to have too much, I want to have enough to work with whatever's left. This can go to my use later pile. Okay, grab my round nose pliers, slide my wire down about a third of the way down my pliers, and make my loop. Just like I've been doing all along. Get it closed up. Nice and tight. There we go. And now let's attach. Just open it up. Slide my closed loop into my open loop and close. Nice and snug. There we go. And I think that's going to do it. It's always good to measure, measure, measure so that your bracelet will be the size that you need. And let's just check it out, shall we? Get on there. I don't like my bracelets too big. I know some people like them hanging down their hand, which is fine. I might like mine a little more snug. I'm trying to get it fastened. Come on. I'm on camera. Don't humiliate me. Trying to watch it in the camera, which means it's mirror image for me, which is a bit of a challenge. Come on. This is unacceptable. Oh, really? I don't know why I do this to myself every time. Every time I say I'm going to put it on with the camera off. There we go. Just slid right in there. Squeeze that together. Oh, it's a little bigger than I usually like, but where is it? I can fasten it over here if I want. And then I'll have a little dangle. Come on. Come on, come on. Oh, you get the joy of seeing me fumble. And then I have a little dangle on there. And there's my bracelet. Now, the thing that I was going to do that was a little different was because I have all these chips left over, why don't we put some dangles on? Why not? I see absolutely no reason not to do that. And that is what I'm going to do. So let me take it off. And add some dangles. I have a couple made already. Yay. But I'm gonna use this one. It's probably a little longer than I want. Yeah. So I'm gonna open it up and take a bead or two off. Yeah, may as well cut it. Because I want to get my hands on the amethyst one. All right, so I'm going to show you another little wrap. Just need a couple of inches. And I'm going to do an infinity wrap on the end like that. Because I like them, they're cute. So I slide my pliers just beyond the tip. It doesn't have to be very big. So just beyond the tip of my pliers is where my wire lands. And then I'm going to rotate until I have a loop, just like I've been doing all of my loops. Just like that. Then I'm going to put my pliers just under the loop, same place, just beyond the tip. And I'm going to rotate the other direction until I have a little infinity ribbon. That's a little smaller than the other one. So let's go in and make it just a tad bigger. There we go. Nice. Then I can put my beads on. Let's flatten that out just a little. Let's pick a bead, or 2 or 5. So I'm going to take one of these, this little amethyst one, and a turquoise, sandstone, another sandstone because that's a little one. Get around there. See how it just fell in place on that turquoise, which I love. Is that long enough? I do believe it is. Let's make a loop, this nice open loop. See, I did not need nearly that much. You really only need about a ½ inch to make your, or give yourself an inch to make your infinity loops, whatever amount you need for your chips, in this case, about ½ inch, and then another ½ inch for the simple loop. So that's about 2 inches. And I had 2.5. I didn't even need that much. It was a little over 2 inches. Let's cut that off. Get rid of the tail. Make my loop. It's like I've been doing all along. And I want this to show, so I want to make sure that one is flat and the other is up and down. Because when that hooks in, you want to see your infinity link. Got 2 white ones. Let's do one more colorful one. This time I'm going to add a little more turquoise. See if that's too many. All right, let's grab another piece of wire and make my little infinity loop right inside, just beyond the tail of the tip of my pliers. Make sure nothing's sticking out the back here. Make the loop. Oops, get back in there. Make the loop. A little more. Okay, then go just below the loop and make another loop. There we go. Neaten that up a bit. There it is. Nice. Put my beads on. Let's go with the turquoise. I'm going to alternate this time. Turquoise, sandstone, halite, white turquoise is what they call it, but it's halite. Let's get real. Halite is a very calming, has a very calming influence. Let's get down there. There we go. Let's go back the other way. Another sandstone. And another, I think that's enough. I don't want it to be too much longer than the others. In fact, I think I can stop with these 3. All right, let's do that. Make my loop. Again, I want one going flat and the other going up and down. So bend, snip, and loop. Oh, really? Let me make sure this is going the way I want it to go. There we go. Okay, there we go. And so there, I'm going to have some little dangles here. So let's see. Where can I put you? Yeah. I want one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's do one more. One more little dangle, and I think that's all I need. Sandstone, howlite, turquoise. I think that's it. Okay, let's make my little loop. I don't need that much. We'll save that long one for another day. Make my little loop. Back till I have my little lollipop. Put my beads on. And oh, I'm supposed to do my little infinity. Virginia, Virginia. Let's do that again. Okay. And make my little infinity. Now I have to make them the same size, so I made that one a little bit bigger. That's okay. Still gonna be pretty. Just have a bigger infinity loop. Ooh, pretty. Okay, and my beads. Oh, let's put this one on. To settle. Oh, look at that. It settled right in the little nook. Nice. Slide that on. Turn it that way. And make a loop. Okay, close that up. Just enough. Excellent. Okay, now let's put them on. Oh, that's going to be really cute. So let's put them all on. So I'm just going to put one on each little ring here. And you can add more. I mean, I'm just going to put one on one of my rings all the way down. You can put them here across on each one, or you could put one on this side and one on the other side. You can put them over here instead. It's entirely up to you. This is just what I'm doing. Okay, next one. Next one. A little more. Isn't it? Okay. Next. And last but not least, this one. Actually, I think I'm going to move this one over here. So I have a white turquoise one in between each of the colorful ones. So move you over here. And this one on the end. So there is my bracelet. I love it. Isn't that neat? Let's flip those out. There it is. There it is. Let's put it on. Nice and colorful. And still earthy because I'm using stones. I'll put it over here where you can see me trying to get it on my wrist. So you're not wondering what the heck is she doing off camera that she can't get her bracelet on. Come on. Yeah. There. Oh, I really like this. What do you think? That is really neat. Let me show you on the big camera. There it is. There is my bracelet. Isn't that cute? And can you, oh, I love the clasp. I really do. Isn't that neat? A nice clasp and the loop, and they look like, they just look like part of the bracelet. But what I really, really love is that they match my tongue. Yay! I am leaving this on after I take the pictures. But oh, isn't that neat? I love it. And it'll go with the other one. This is the one I made in the classroom, which is just basically chips. But I can put the two of them together and they look wonderful. Yay. Anyway, but here it is. There's the bracelet. This is what we did today. Nice stone bracelets, stone rounds, stone chips, 4mm stone rounds, little stone chips, any ones you like. I have a combination of chips that I'm going to be giving out to those of you who get kits, and they're going to be all different. There won't be two the same. So great. I really, really like this. Again, I've said Trudy's name 3 times now. Thank you, Trudy. Anyway, that's our bracelet for the day. I'm going to keep it up here where you can see it. That's our bracelet for the day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, these tutorials are free from us to you. The DeKalb County Library Foundation sponsors these so that you will have something wonderful and creative and artistic to do. 100% free. The kits are free, the tutorials are free. The tutorials will be out there, as from what I understand, forever. So you don't, I had somebody say, oh, I missed the tutorial. It was on Friday. And it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. It's not a live tutorial. It's a recorded tutorial so that you can access it anytime you want. Anytime you have a free moment or however many minutes it takes to make it. It's all yours. Go for it. So if you ever want to get in contact with me, my email is jewelrygen20, excuse me, at gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20 at gmail.com. Or you can contact us on the Facebook page. Just scroll down until you find the picture of this bracelet. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. That's facebook.com/DeKalb Libraries. Facebook.com/DeKalb Library. Let us know what you think, what you thought, what you would like to say, because we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, I again hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you'll make 1 or 2 or more of these. But until next time, until the next tutorial, I hope you have a great week, a great weekend, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.